Right now, somewhere in your house, your phone is within arm's reach. You know this. You checked it 11 minutes ago. Nothing had changed, but you checked it anyway. Why? The easy answer is habit. The real answer is far stranger. That itch you feel when there is nothing to do, that restless, slightly uncomfortable pull towards your screen, your fridge, your notifications, is not a flaw in your character. It is one of the oldest survival tools your brain has, and it might be the most misunderstood feeling you own. Scientists call it boredom, but boredom is not what you think it is. For most of human history, boredom did not mean lying on a couch with nothing to watch. It meant something closer to danger. Your ancestors did not scroll when they were bored. They moved, they explored. They noticed a change in the wind, a gap in the tree line, a sound that did not belong. Boredom was the signal that told the brain, the current situation is not giving you enough information. Go find some. Think about that for a second. Boredom was not punishment. It was a nudge, a built-in compass pointing away from stagnation and toward discovery. Dr. John Eastwood, a psychologist at York University who has spent much of his career studying this exact feeling, defines boredom as the uncomfortable feeling of wanting to be engaged in a satisfying activity but being unable to do so. Notice what that definition does not say. It does not say boredom is laziness. It does not say boredom is having nothing to do. It says your mind is straining against its own environment, trying to find something worth paying attention to, and coming up empty. That straining feeling is not new. It is ancient, and it served a purpose your ancestors could not survive without. Picture an early human sitting at the edge of a grassland 12,000 years ago. Food is scarce this week. The berries nearby are gone. If that person feels perfectly content sitting still, doing nothing, noticing nothing new, they starve. Contentment with an empty environment was a death sentence. Restlessness was the fix. The discomfort of boredom is what pushed early humans past the next hill, toward new water sources, toward unfamiliar plants that might be food, toward the kind of exploration that expanded human territory across an entire planet. Your brain still runs that program. It just does not know the hunt is over. Here is where it gets strange. In 2014, a team led by psychologist Timothy Wilson at the University of Virginia ran an experiment that became instantly famous and slightly infamous. Participants were placed alone in a room with nothing to do. No phone, no book, just their own thoughts. Before the experiment, they were shown a device that delivered a mild electric shock, unpleasant enough that most people said they would pay money to avoid it. Then researchers left them alone with a choice: sit quietly with their thoughts or press the button and shock themselves. A striking number of people chose the shock, not because they enjoyed pain, because sitting with an unstimulated mind felt worse. Some participants shocked themselves dozens of times in 15 minutes rather than simply exist without input. Wilson's study revealed something uncomfortable about the modern brain. It is so wired to seek stimulation that many people would rather feel something bad than feel nothing at all. Does that sound familiar? Think about the last time you stood in a checkout line. No phone, 30 seconds of nothing. Did your hand twitch toward your pocket? That twitch is not weakness. It is the same ancient circuitry that once pushed your ancestors toward the next valley, misfiring in a world with no valleys left to explore. Because here is the twist modern life created, one your ancestors never had to deal with. For nearly all of human history, boredom had nowhere to go except outward, into the real world, into rivers and forests and unknown terrain. Today, the moment boredom appears, it has an escape hatch built directly into your hand. A screen that delivers infinite novelty with zero effort. No danger, no uncertainty, no walking required. Your brain does not know the difference between exploring a new continent and opening a new app. Both deliver the same signal. New information detected, restlessness resolved, dopamine released. But there is a catch, and it is a big one. Psychologist Dr. Sandy Mann at the University of Central Lancashire ran a series of studies that flipped the entire cultural assumption about boredom on its head. In one experiment, she had participants complete a boring task first, something mundane like copying numbers from a phone book, before asking them to come up with creative uses for a plastic cup. The bored group produced significantly more original ideas than a group that skipped the boring task entirely. Mann's conclusion was blunt. Boredom is not the enemy of creativity, it is often the trigger for it. Why would that be true? Because a mind denied stimulation does not simply shut off, it starts generating its own. Deprived of external input, the brain wanders inward, connecting ideas that never would have touched otherwise, running simulations, replaying memories, imagining futures. Neuroscientists call this the default mode network, a system that activates precisely when you are not focused on a task. It is responsible for some of your most original thinking, and it only fully switches on when the outside world stops handing you something new every few seconds. This is the part that should genuinely unsettle you. Every time boredom appears and you reach for your phone, you are not just relieving discomfort. You are closing a door that used to lead somewhere important. The door to unplanned thought. The door your ancestors walked through every single day of their lives. Whether they were staring at a fire, walking to find water, or lying awake under an open sky with absolutely nothing to look at except stars and their own thoughts. Some of history's most significant ideas were not born at a desk under deadline pressure. They emerged in the gaps, in long walks, in idle moments, in precisely the kind of understimulated silence that modern life has almost entirely engineered out of existence. You live in the first era of human history where boredom can be eliminated on command, and that convenience comes with a cost nobody advertised. Journalist Manoush Zomorodi noticed this pattern while researching what she called the bored and brilliant effect, tracking how constant phone use had quietly erased the small, dead moments in daily life. The walk to the mailbox, the wait for the kettle, the pause before falling asleep, moments that used to belong to unstructured thought and now belong to a screen instead. So what happens to a species that engineers away its own boredom? Nobody knows the full answer yet, but early signs suggest something is being lost, not gained. Attention spans measured in research studies have shortened. Reports of restlessness and anxiety during quiet moments have risen. The very discomfort that once pushed humans toward discovery is now treated as a problem to be instantly medicated with a notification rather than a signal worth sitting inside for a while. Here is the reframe worth carrying with you. Boredom was never your enemy. It was your ancestors' alarm system, the feeling that told them the world had more to offer than what was directly in front of them. It pushed exploration, invention, art, migration, discovery. The feeling has not changed in 50,000 years. Only the response to it has. Somewhere between your ancestors and you, boredom stopped being a doorway and became an inconvenience to eliminate in under 3 seconds. Next time that restless, itchy, slightly uncomfortable feeling shows up, before you reach for the easiest escape, try sitting inside it for just a little longer. Not because discomfort is noble, but because that feeling has guided your species toward everything worth discovering for longer than agriculture, longer than written language, longer than civilization itself. Right now, somewhere in your house, your phone is still within arm's reach. This time, maybe let it sit there a little longer. Your brain already knows what to do with the silence. It has been doing it for 100,000 years.